Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Tuesday, the 23rd of April. Now, I hope everyone had a good Easter, and it's time to get back into these currencies. Now, what happens a lot over these short holiday breaks and Easter Friday, where all the systems are off. It's not like, or unlike New Year's Day or Christmas Day, where the markets are actually turned off. Now, that has really lost momentum across the board of all major pairs. And that comes back to these the core market conditions and the core market drivers, I should say, as well, being the dominant factors. Now, when geopolitics, these geopolitical situations that are just rolling on are really wearing traders out. And a lot of guys in the banks and other institutions are just sort of sitting back and just waiting. It's like death by a thousand lashes, but we have to be persistent with our approach. So the market conditions at the moment, well, the majors are just drifting sideways. And that Chinese-US situation is going to escalate or become more of a prevalent event on the media outlets as we go forward from here, I believe. So, the major currency pairs, now there's short-term gyrations in the hourly charts, but overall there's not a hell of a lot going on. The two pairs that usually don't do a lot and just follow other pairs are actually leading the way. Dollar Swiss still looks clearly moving to the top side. And Kiwi is the one pair where inflation was much weaker, forcing the hand of the RBNZ. They are extremely dovish already. So Kiwi probably looks like the clearest directional trade at the moment, with Dollar Swiss coming over the top. So what do we do from here? Well, you just have to wait. Okay, you have to wait for the penny to drop. And what we're referring to there is the upcoming events. You got to wait for the data to fit into place, make it build a case for a move up or move down, or a continuation of this move sideways. Today, the markets are just reconnecting after the Easter break, so I don't expect a hell of a lot to happen straight away. We've got the new home sales out of the US and consumer confidence numbers in the Eurozone. They're the two major events today. And you know what? They're not exactly hugely major because you can hold positions through these two releases. So it's a bit of a, the markets or traders are sort of just rubbing the dust out of their eyes after the break. If you have a look at the major currency pairs, now the Aussie was a bizarre, well, not really bizarre, but a bit of an odd one considering we had some really strong employment numbers. We saw them move up to 72, the figure, and then it just started to roll over in itself as the dollar started to sort of make some gains against the euro in particular and also sterling. So the Aussie broke back down through 71.50. A really disappointing move, to be honest. I was a bit long and looking for more out of that. Now it's sort of just drifting sideways. The Kiwi has moved lower. We've got a new sort of support trend line at the moment, but it does look like it's heading south. Look at dollar yen. It's completely neutralized. It has been trading sideways in a very tight range for 4 or 5 days. Euro dropped lower on Thursday after the, I think it was after the weaker Euro or German and Eurozone numbers, manufacturing numbers. That was the trade. Now it's trading sideways. And this is a pretty good example. So what we're seeing is we're seeing the currencies move on some data and not on others. But when it does move, it's done. The trade is over very quickly, right? Then from there, it trades sideways. So like getting short here, Euro at the moment, to me, well, there's nothing to really back it up. At this point, I'd be more inclined to sort of sit back and wait, maybe for these US consumer confidence numbers. Sterling, well, it's sort of out of play with Brexit, but, we are starting to see it drift lower. It's the first time it's been under 130 for some time, and that could be painting a picture for, well, no Brexit deal. Who knows? I'm so over Brexit, it's just doing my head in. Oil, finally oil kicking in, right? So back to above $65. That is starting to get the CAD popping its head up. So obviously pushing dollar CAD a little bit lower, but not a lot of rhyme and reason. Mixed fundamentals across the board on dollar CAD there as well. So just having a look at these charts, you can see it's a pretty rough picture, okay? Especially because sterling, it is sort of out of the game and it does impact the dollar, but this thing is completely random and it's just sort of drifting. The other pairs, well, Euro, to me, I'm still bearish Euro. The ECB have got a bearish outlook, so it should be lower, but it hasn't been. And this move up here really did knock out a lot of bears above 113. Now it's back down here. Everyone's sort of scratching their head once again. The Aussie, it's in a massive kerfuffle at the moment. The employment numbers were stronger. We've got the CPI data Wednesday, so it's probably going to trade sideways until Wednesday. The Kiwi, well, looking to get short on rallies back towards some decent levels is probably the way to go at this point until we get something else that tells us different, because it's the RBNZ is bearish and the data has been somewhat bad as well. Dollar yen, I expect that to trade sideways. No clear direction there. And dollar CAD, well, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast, but oil dominating. So that's where we are, guys. It's a bit of a tough one. It's a bit of a reconnect after the Easter break. Now, the only thing you can really do is come back into your charts, redraw your trend lines, and see if you can find some sort of technical perspective and see if it sort of matches ours. Also, just keep up to date with the fundamental outlook at this stage. Aussie, Kiwi, and Euro, the pairs with sort of clear or some sort of visible, clarity from the central banks with regards to what their plans are. And now we just have to wait and see how these upcoming events fit into play with this outlook. Not great conditions at the moment, but I do expect things to pick up once the markets, full markets reconnect this week. Don't forget, we've got we've got some huge data coming out. The Aussie CPI, extremely important for the next movement from the central bank and be important for the fundamental outlook. And then you've got the German IFO numbers. The Bank of Canada interest rate decision will be, well, I don't expect a lot out of it, but the statement in the press conference will be very lively. And then we've got a bit more hard hitting, the advanced GDP numbers out of the US and the durable goods as well. So plenty to play for Wednesday onwards. Today doesn't look like it's the best day for me to be having a crack, although I will be looking very closely at the consumer confidence numbers as well. All right, guys, that's it from me. Have a good trade day and, get yourself set up, ready to start trading again. Cheerio.